Hello and welcome to Grade 7 Technical Requirements for Piano. I'm going to try and go through some of these scales, if not all of them, hopefully all of them by the end of today, and we'll see what we can do to help everyone learn how to play them. So I'm doing this for a couple of my students who are in Grade 7 right now, and they're having trouble with kind of learning the notes and putting it together, and hopefully this will help you guys with the scales at home. I'm going to try and do this in one go, and I haven't done this in a little while, so pardon me if I make any mistakes. Just like you guys at home, making mistakes is perfectly normal and inevitable if you don't practice all the time, like me. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so I flipped open the book and we are on page 6, which is the table of contents for all the scales that are required for grade 7. It looks like quite a large list, so maybe we'll break up the video in a couple different categories. But let's start with the first thing. So it says 2 octave scales, and we have a bunch of major scales on the top and then a bunch of minor scales on the bottom. It's 2 octaves, and it says hands together, but for now I'm going to jump in hands separately, which is what you should be doing as well. And here are the scales. So C major is the first one. There's no sharps, no flats. It is one of the most basic scales, but it's also the hardest one if you don't know how to do the fingering. So I'll go over the fingering with you. All right, so I set up the camera to show you the C major hand position for the right hand. Basically, you start at middle C and we go 2 octaves. So that would be here, that's 1 octave to here, and then we finish way over there. So let's give this a try. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that was 2 octaves. Ideally, you follow the fingering in the book, which says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, the book only says 1 octave, but we need to play 2. Never mind, the book says 2 octaves. So we just follow exactly what the book says, and then we go back down. So if you haven't ever done scales before, basically they're groups in fingers. Groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of 3, and always groups of 4, and that's the pattern. And then when you finish, you don't want to do another group, so you do finger 5. Then you do groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of, and you make it all the way to the bottom, and that's your right hand. Left hand's exactly the same thing, except the opposite. We start over here. Well, actually I started there, so let's start here, and that's where we do the left hand. So this, as you can see, already starts not with a group of 3, but starts with your finger 5, and then you go up. So this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, and that's 2 octaves. And so the fingering again is 5, then group of 4, group of 3, group of 4, group of 3, group of 4, group of 3, and then back down. This is your group of 3. Sorry, group of 3, and then your group of 4, group of 3, group of 4, group of 3, group of 4, and then you finish. And it's the same idea if you were to go into the higher grade levels, which is, for example, grade 8 has 4 octaves. So you do groups of 3, then groups of 4, and it just repeats. Hands together, the 3s actually come together. But it gets a little confusing, so you just take it slow. This is a group of 3, but this one's a 4. 3s are together though, always together. and the 3s will come together. On the 3, actually, you should turn. 3. 1's on C. 3, you turn. And that's usually the turn that most people forget in the left hand. It's the opposite in the right hand, although most people don't forget this one. It's 1, 2, 3, and then you turn, even though this one does not turn when you do it together. That's a turn. This is not a turn. You always turn on the 3s, but only one of the hands does the turning, and that's C major. So the next one we have here is C minor harmonic, or C harmonic minor. They changed kind of the way they named the scales, but they're basically the same thing. If you look carefully, it tells you that there are 3 flats and then a natural sign, and then going down, it's the same natural all the way. It's always B natural, and then there's 2 flats remaining. I don't like reading music very much, so I like to do it by ear or kind of by shape. So I'm going to show you how I do it that way on the piano. And I like to compare the minor keys to the major keys so that they're basically the same position, but just with a different quality because there are some flats. So let's go back down to the keyboard. So if you were to read, we would see C, D, E flat from the key signature, F, G, A flat from the key signature, and then B natural, which is an accidental, and then C. And that is your C minor harmonic scale. Basically, though, what happens is in the first 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the minor is the 3rd. So it's the only note that changes. 1, 2, 3 compared to C major. Then, in the harmonic form, the 6th note, which is after the 5, changes also. So it also goes flat down a half step. So we do 1, 2, 3, group of 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The B is actually the same B as in C major, and this one's here, B, C. In 2 octaves, it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2 octaves. Okay, I wonder if I went too high on C major, but that's okay. You get the idea. Same idea in the left hand. The notes are the same, but when you put them together, it's kind of nice. Your finger 3s actually come together. So 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. And that's C minor harmonic. Going a bit slower, I fumbled a bit. It's hard to kind of look at my video instead of my hands, but that's okay. We'll try again. 5, 4, 3. And that's C minor harmonic. So the only difference in melodic is that on the way up, we have an extra accidental. So if you look at the book, it says A natural and B natural. But the reality of it is that the first 5 notes are the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the ending notes are like C major, which had no sharps or flats, so all white keys. On the way down, you follow the key signature, or basically these 2 steps, 7 and 6, go back to being 1 semitone down, which is what you were supposed to do if you raise the 6 and 7 steps of the C minor natural scale. It's a lot of theory, but basically, instead of white keys, you go black keys. And that's your C minor melodic. So C major, again, 2 octaves is here. Oh, I went too far. C minor is this. minor, sorry, harmonic was that one. This is melodic. And that's the first one, which is easier for me because that's the one that I usually show, and then the other ones will be harder, but we will carry on going forward. The next one is D major. So D major, if we look at it really carefully, really quickly, is 2 sharps, and that's F sharp and C sharp. And then if we look back at the keyboard, we have them here. So we start on D. That's your F sharp, which is your finger 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your C sharp, which is kind of nice because it's shaped in a way that is in your groups, like we've learned before. C, right? C was 1, 2, 3. This is also 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So that's D major. Left hand's a little bit trickier because it's not grouped exactly as simple as it was here, but the fingers are the same as in your C major scale. So this is your group of 4, but this is your group of 4 now. D, 4, 3, and that's D major. I'm not sure what else to say about that, but if you do have trouble putting your hands together, I recommend doing it slow first, or to do the technique, which I haven't done in a while, so good luck to me, the long, short. So you do the first note long, you do the second note short, and you alternate them. And then by the end of it, you'll have done this one long, as well as this one short on the next octave. So it gives you a chance to try out all of the different hand positions in a fast way and in a slow way. So we do long, short, 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 long. And then you can do that the first time, do it a couple times till you're comfortable, and then you do your hands together. Normal. And that's D major. So using the same kind of theory on how to do your minor conversions from before, flip the page. If we look at it, you can do some reading if you'd like. I, again, don't really like reading, but that's okay. If you guys are more comfortable reading, definitely follow the book. So D major had an F sharp. This one doesn't. So that's the third step. It's down. And then here we have the C sharp, which is actually the same C sharp as before. So that we can ignore. But what's interesting and important to know is the 6th note. So 1, 2, 3 is lower. 4, 5, 6 is also lower because of the B flat in the key signature. So if we go back to the piano, let's do this. So we have too low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the same notes from D major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th note is not the white key anymore, but it's lowered by a half step. The C sharp stayed from before, or is added to the natural form of the D minor scale. Anyways, it's just a lot of theory, but you can kind of play it by copying. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll do the melodic version and then I'll cut this video because I think it's long enough. This will be for C major, C minor, D major, D minor, and then I'll make another video for the next group. So this is D minor melodic now. So the first 5 notes are the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th note is not black anymore. It actually just ends like D major, which had only the C sharp. Going down, the 7th step and the 6th step go back 1 semitone. which is actually the natural form of the D minor scale, or basically the key signature, which is the relative F major. Anyhow, lots of theory, but all you need to know is you go down, 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 and then the rest of the notes stay the same. So here is D minor melodic one more time. And that's 2 octaves. Okay, I think that's enough for this one video. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that wasn't too complicated. Maybe I'll go over it one last time for you. D major. So D major is here. D minor harmonic. Sorry, I missed that note going up, but that's what happens sometimes when you don't practice. The next one is melodic. And sorry, I missed that one going down, but like I said, if you don't practice, it's perfectly normal. Even if you know your scales in and out, your fingers will slip inevitably. So practice hard, keep up all the good work that you've been doing, and try your very best, because it's not easy, but as long as you put in some effort and keep practicing, it will go well. Good luck, everyone. Take care.